Okay, so we're gonna continue to the next speaker. Personally, as a marketer, I'm super excited to have Arturs here because he got the almost 20 years experience in advertising, and he's the co-founder and the managing director of Mixed, and they were helping 37 million euros of media spend worldwide in 2021 and help over 100 brands to scale. So let's welcome Arturs here to share.
Hi guys, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Really excited to be here. Before I actually started preparing this presentation about holiday marketing, to be honest, there was one thing that popped into my head and one message that I wanted to convey, and it was don't do it. So not as optimistic. But after talking to you guys at HyperSKU and Justin's model, I think it's a game changer. I mean, it's totally something else, and it could actually make a huge impact if you really follow the steps. I was actually really impressed. So. But like you mentioned, I have a lot of experience and a lot of experience in offline and in online. And what I can say is that holiday marketing is probably one of the toughest things that you can do because everybody has huge expectations in terms of advertisers, and it's a bloodbath, and it's everybody. It's this really strange perception of holiday season being this huge monetary opportunity, which in numbers of course it is, but to actually get a piece of that pie, you need to be really prepared and really take it really seriously because everybody is in on it, wants to be in on it. The media will want to make a dollar or a euro, knowing that everybody is advertising. You have huge retailers who have amazing buying power that will be able to buy stock that is completely out of reach for a mid-size or a small advertiser. So you have all these big sharks and small guys trying to make a living in holiday season. So it's really tough. So you have to have you have to have all of your ducks in a row, and it's not a regular type of campaign or strategy that you can implement. I would say that from my experience, you have to be like really geared up and have the right partners and have all the research done, and it's a really tough project. But I mean, with the right kind of help, it's definitely doable. And this season is going to be probably one of the toughest ones for online advertisers, knowing that, well, I mean, it's just common sense. There's a lot of research for States and for Europe, but it's just common sense that people will want to go out and buy the gifts and go to the store. Actually, it's the COVID is over, and people want to get out, and for a change, they don't want to buy stuff online. So just take that in consideration. There was a research by Twitter that over 83% of shoppers want to go out actually and buy stuff. But forget about research. If you have a good product, if you have the right product and the right suppliers, you can beat all that. So I have a couple of things that I want to recommend to you guys and hope it helps. So let me just share my screen. Let's move down. So we are an international advertising agency. I'm not going to focus too much on that, but let's move all the way down to the next slide. So my suggestion would be to really prepare, as I said, not to make the holiday dream into a nightmare. And preparing a checklist is super important. By meaning a checklist is, if you look at your whole digital ecosystem, every asset that you have has to be perfectly checked, perfectly made, in sync with whatever you're doing, your strategy. Especially if we're talking about Facebook. If you're using Facebook as one of your main channels, you have to have your whole ecosystem geared up and ready to support whatever might happen. And I have several checklists that are available that I will show you in the following slides. But another important aspect is that, as you can be as optimistic as you like, but you have to really prepare for a kind of a backlash, in a sense that if you're successful, you have to have the right kind of client support. If you do find the right product, you have to be prepared that something might trigger a huge interest, and that means a lot of people might be happy, a lot of people might be unhappy, and it can turn sour pretty quickly, especially if we're talking about Facebook. As you know, if your page score drops below 2, between 1 and 2, which is not the worst thing, you're simply going to be dealt with. We will have to deal with higher CPMs and less reach. That's the best case scenario. Of course, you might be stopped completely. Yeah, so finding the right product is extremely important. So yes, Justin's method, in my opinion, is fantastic. Definitely take note of that. And tons of research in terms of how do you optimize your campaigns. But if you look at it from a product perspective, let's say, even if people are geared up to go outside and buy things on the street, so to speak, if you find the right product with the right price, you can't beat that. I mean, it's always going to be the right trigger. So can you move to the next slide, please? Thank you. So here are a couple of recommendations for this season. As you know, the shipping costs will increase, so you have to take that into consideration. People are simply going to try to save more on whatever they do. So price is going to be of the essence. Definitely, less expensive stuff will probably be more in demand. It's just common sense. I mean, inflation is going up. People will try to save. Energy prices are going up, so it's going to, especially in Europe. So that's something that needs to be considered. There's plenty of research that people want to go outside and enjoy the holiday feel and just experience over things. That's kind of connected. It's rather than just buying things online, people want to experience. So if you can provide that sort of experience in your landing page, or improve experience in your landing page, so probably this season or these holidays will be it's going to be one of the top aspects of whether you're successful or not. So more price sensitive. Definitely you'll definitely need to look at products that are more affordable, and preparing way before the holiday season and making people fall in love with your brand before the season begins is important. Or providing holiday season offers or coupons or special treats before the season sales, kind of to lure people in and make them consider your shop for the holidays as well. Everything that has to do with localization, personalization, that yada yada about. You'll find a lot of that stuff online. There's each advertiser usually follows their own kind of strategy. There's plenty of information, but from my point of view, one of the key aspects is, of course, being compliant with whatever's happening on the platforms. Because if we look at Facebook, for example, same with Google, they will be extra cautious. There's going to be a lot of competition, so a lot of traffic, and they will be extra strict. So you have to make sure that all of your assets are compliant, and double checking, not even kind of making sure that there are no possibilities to get any kind of red flags as much as possible. So auditing all of your assets and really preparing is essential. So gifts, that's another important thing. People will visit each other more. So Christmas gifts is going to be something that people will most likely want to focus on a lot more. And I would recommend Twitter as a media for consideration that isn't usually used as much. It's a great place to discover good deals. So I would say that Twitter is going to be more relevant this season. So each of you have some sort of affiliation with some kind of an agency. Agencies are usually treasure troves of information. So there's a lot of stuff that you can get. You just have to ask. As an agency guy, I could say that we get more information than we actually would like. Some of the stuff we don't need to know about, but you can definitely. My recommendation is to be precise and ask what you need and what kind of statistics or what kind of gossip you want to hear, and your agency will definitely share it with you, hopefully. And of course, controlling your supply chain is extremely important. So yeah, SKUs. So that's something that you can definitely help. And so be prepared that you will. Yeah, you can go down to the next slide. Yeah, thanks. Be prepared that you will get blocked all the time. That's just how holiday seasons are. I mean, the algorithm is what it is. They're not going to change it for the holiday season, except that if there's huge demand and a lot of traffic, they will of course try to redistribute it towards the advertisers that are most compliant. And I would like to underline the word compliant, because it's compliance over sales all the time. And yeah, so we can go down to the next slide. So having these checklists is super important. For example, checking your ad copies and making sure that there is literally no possibility of being blocked is super important. So you have to clearly specify and take note of this, make a screenshot or review it. This is really important. Making sure that you clearly, specifically write in your copy what you're advertising. What is it? What's the offer? Making sure that you're avoiding any kind of personal attributes or characteristics. Making sure that your ad copies are not clickbaity, exaggerated. Anything that is using any kind of hyperbole in your ad copy is definitely a red flag. So being really direct and maybe in a sense a little bit blunt and boring is definitely a lot better than having exaggerated claims. I would say that in especially in Facebook, it's it's important to consider that Facebook does get marketing for you. I mean, the algorithm finds the right people for your product if you do everything correctly. So if you're compliant and if you won't need to exaggerate anything, it will simply, find the right set of eyes that are looking for similar products. So, people are usually used to advertising is, an exaggeration in a sense, but you kind of have to forget about that when you're talking about Facebook, because it pays off a lot more to be, direct and precise and explaining exactly what you're selling. Maybe it sounds a little bit boring, it is not as appealing, and this it's not as charming, but compliance is key. If you're compliant, then the probability of you staying online is a lot higher. So, and that's what's important, because you gather more data. The more data you gather, you get higher scores. The higher scores, the more high score, the higher the score, the bigger the possibility that you will have more conversions. So, being really in line with regulations is super important. Obviously, any kind of offensive language or profanity, using correct grammar, especially when we're talking about localization. Google Translate is not going to cut it. You have to be, really perfect in that sense. And of course, anything that's misleading or deceptive is completely the wrong way to go, even if you're just being familiar and trying to use just regular language. I mean, it's a possibility of being red flagged, so better not go in that direction. Discounts, always a tricky one. 50% usually is something that is the red line. Anything above that is a total danger zone. Inflated prices and then big discounts. Well, they usually track those kinds of things. I mean, you don't. It's better to find the right kind of product for the right kind of price and give a reasonable discount rather than making something completely outrageous, because it's going to be very short-lived, especially in the holiday season, because all the compliance hawks are going to be on extra alert. So discounts off the original price, danger zone. So let's go to the next slide, please. Now, everything that has to do with your landing pages, your shops, your Facebook pages, you have to consider it as a whole, like one ecosystem. It's if your ad copy is fine and it's in line with regulation, you have to have that. You have to have the same approach for your Facebook pages and your landing pages, completely exactly the same. It might be your territory, but that's not how Facebook or Google will look at it. It will look at it as a whole. So you have to be like super cautious of that. And obviously, everything that has to do with delivery and returns and contacts and privacy policies, I think that's something that a lot of people just simply kind of mistreat, and it's one of the key aspects of you getting banned. And holiday sales are usually, it's a very short period of time, and getting banned right at the beginning would mean a lot of work being done for nothing. So really take extra care about that. And yes, your brand information, having the pages actually prepared and having content that is relevant to the holiday season is very important. Everything that has to do with text and images, have to be in line with the regulation. You have same goes for misleading claims or discounts. You cannot have one price in the ad copy and something completely different, or products that you're not advertising on any of the platforms I mentioned, but having extremely high discounts on your shop, even if you're not advertising them. It's this content will still be evaluated by their bots and crawlers, and you will still get a low score, which in turn will affect your sales and conversions. So functionality is the key, checking all your assets. So if you look at your page in general, I mean, it has to be understood. It's a digital mechanism. You have to have all the right meta tags. You have to have everything in line. So basically, you guys, the way you usually prepare for SEO, any kind of SEO campaigns, it's the same reasoning for Facebook as well. I mean, if your page, if their bots and crawlers will not be able to understand your page, understand the assets that are on this page, that you will simply, well, they will not score you enough, and then they will probably label you as unfunctional. Just checking all of your buttons, or checking all the design elements that might look like buttons and things like that, it might be read as or looked upon as an unfunctional asset, and it could impair your score. So, and of course, last but not the least, everything that has to do with loading. I mean, checking your especially mobile. I mean, I cannot stress that there's all kinds of add-ons that might affect your loading times, and then if those are not good, I mean, your page is just going to be labeled as something that is not relevant, and all of your assets have to be relevant to the holiday season. That's how they score you. They want to show guys that are really prepared. They want to show guys that are functional. They want to show guys that have good products. Their idea or their philosophy is to show the best of the best first, and then everybody else. So the better your assets, the higher the possibility that you guys will do good. So yeah. In general, of course, everybody has a different product set or a service, and this is more like very general information, but highly recommend that you turn to your agency or whoever is consulting you to do an audit, to check all your assets, to make a checklist for you, and to go through it and make sure that you guys are prepared for the holiday season. And I think my time is up, but yeah, if you guys need additional information, I will share an email in the chat, and we will gladly prepare additional info on how to check your assets and how to prepare the checklists and audit your assets if necessary.
Are you going to go through quickly, or just let us stop here?
Yeah, we can stop here.
We can stop here?
Yep.
Okay. So for more information, I think we're gonna share the slides on YouTube as well. So maybe on our Facebook group, and if any more question for Mixed, you can reach out mixed.lv, and
Sure.
yeah, we record everything and gonna share on our YouTube channel, so you can reach out to the Mixed team as well. Do you have a contact info like in the end of the slide? For the team?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, in the first slide, and I posted it in the chat as well. So
okay. So we'll share all info afterwards at the follow-up emails, and they will get the contact info of Mixed.
Absolutely. Yes. And thank you guys for this opportunity. I think
thank you very much.
With your help and Justin, I'm sure that it's doable. I feel much more optimistic about the holiday season.
Yeah, same here. It's like after, this kind of like compliances, because, because I see everything of yours, like actually there are a lot of like useful infos, but due to the time, limitations, so we just stop here and we'll share more like info or like post or like, some tips or anything related to Mixed afterwards on our social media. And yeah, that's great. It was great to have you, Arturs. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So guys, do you have any question for Arturs? Please leave at the Q&A section, or we're going to send you a follow-up email afterwards.